Correct. You never want to have that low of policy limits to protect yourself. And you always want to make sure you have higher uninsured or underinsured policy limits above and beyond the 30/60 policies that they write for the minimum here in Virginia.
And then people can also build on that by having a strong umbrella policy.
Yes, if you have a higher value liability, uninsured, underinsured coverage policy, you can also get an umbrella policy. But if you buy an umbrella policy, make sure that that umbrella policy provides uninsured, underinsured motorist coverage in addition to just liability coverage.
Randy, thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
For more info, trostlaw.com, 434-777-HURT. What a way to finish the regular season of Jefferson Forest Cavaliers football, presented by trostlaw.com. This Friday, November 7th, the Heritage Pioneers visit Sabre Stadium, aiming to spoil senior night. Your Central VA Flooring kickoff show starts at 6:30. Kick at 7 on the Virginia's Talk Station app, 100.9 FM Lynchburg, 95.5 FM Bedford, and Open Virginia Talk Radio Network on your smart speaker. JF Football is also presented by Apple Auto Glass, Impact Church, The Concrete Wizard, Clyde Smith Plumbing, and Magic City Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Bedford.
You're stepping into the fast lane on the VTRN Sports app, 93.3 FM and 1320 AM Lynchburg, or by asking Alexa or Google Home, open VTRN Sports Lynchburg. Now, take the fast lane through the topics that matter across the Commonwealth. This is the Fast Lane with Ed Lane.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back into the Fast Lane. Happy Friday, everybody. It's a big game going down here in our studios on WIQO 100.9. Game of the week, if you will. Two top three teams where if one team wins, it ends in a three-way tie. You got the Heritage Pioneers going to Jefferson Forest tonight. Jefferson Forest winning means a three-way tie in the Seminole. Heritage wins, they win the division. And also, if you look at the playoff seedings, Coach Bradley was telling Ty Tracy here that if they lose, they go down a couple of spots because of how tight the Class 3C is this year.
Yeah, I looked at it because I was talking to him, and I was like, what's he talking about? And then I look at it, and I was like, there's no way 1 through 5 is 8-1. That it's impossible. This is like some video game generics you see, and it threw me off while I was looking at it. And that's why I was like so surprised. I said, yeah, this is a must-needed win for Heritage, but it's a must-needed win for JF as well, because you got to think about they fighting for the number 2 seed as well with GW Danville. Because I believe is it Henley Judge is 8-1 as well, but it's a three-way tie on the Region 4D side as well.
Yeah, I know. So on 3C, you've got Turner Ashby, and I was looking at this earlier today because you found it thanks to shout out to Bryce. Shout out to Bryce, by the way, for sending us this. But it's really close in all honesty, because Turner Ashby actually plays Spotswood tonight, who's in the hunt.
Mm-hmm.
The only team left in the hunt. Brookville eliminated. By the way, I'll be calling Brookville's last game as Eastie Glass looking to get a playoff spot tonight as well. But you look at the 3C here, you look at Wilson Memorial, Turner Ashby, Allegheny, and Broadway and Heritage. They're all 8-1, and then you got LCA 6-2. So if Heritage loses tonight, they jump down to 5th.
Yes. I think it just depends. So I think right now it'd be 5th, yes.
Yeah, unless Turner Ashby loses. I'm not sure who Allegheny or Wilson Memorial plays. I know Turner Ashby plays Spotswood tonight. So it should be a good one. But I'm excited because there's a lot of great games coming up. College basketball is back tonight in our own backyard. Liberty and College of Charleston are playing in the Red Robin tournament. We'll have Jeff Goodman on later today in the show to talk about that. They'll be playing College of Charleston, who Pat Kelsey, head coach of Louisville now, coached that team and led them to a couple of conference titles. And then you got FAU. 2 years ago, the FAU Owls were in the Final Four. And now you look at...
Wow, it was 2 years ago.
It was 2 years ago, man. Crazy to think about, but it's true.
Yes, I remember that.
So they're all coming to town. It's the Field of 68 hosting Liberty. They've got a good team now. Be frank here. Let's be frank. They beat up a Division II school. This is probably the stretch where their competition gets real. If you can beat Charleston and FAU back to back, I think it's between quad 1 or 2 wins, depending on how the Kepnom has ranked FAU and Charleston.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still good wins if Liberty wins both of these games. And remember, they got to face NC State in Raleigh on December 10th.
Yes.
And they've also got to play Dayton this year. So they've got a good non-conference schedule. And outside of Kennesaw State, I wouldn't say they don't have no competition. I think Conference USA could be loaded this year, but I think really and truly the one team that could probably take it away from Liberty is Kennesaw State.
Yeah.
Maybe Western Kentucky.
Like
maybe.
I said, it's still beginning season. We don't know how teams look in basketball.
No,
so
sure.
I was like, I wouldn't completely judge about it yet. I'll just wait to like middle of December ish to the beginning of January. This be like, okay, we see who's good. Because I believe like usually start conference play in the beginning of January, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe December,
late December, early January.
Yeah, so that's like we still can't judge yet. So it's still gonna take a while to see how Conference USA teams look, especially Liberty. They got some good out of conference schedule.
I agree. It's going to be a good one. So we've got Virginia Tech on a bye this week with college football as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so you look at that. You look at the rankings with everything. College football playoff rankings came out. UVA get the highest ACC ranked team at number 14.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, it's looking like the ACC only gets one bid, and it stinks. But I'm gonna be honest, as an ACC lover, I can see why the Big 12 may get 2 bids and ACC gets 1. And we know the SEC and Big 10 are going to get 4 or 5 bids.
Like, to be honest, though, they have to see. That's why I don't like the committee, because having to never play football day to last. I feel like
half of them, yeah.
I feel like the committee should be full of football, like people like Nick Saban and to do the command, to put the teams in. I agree. I hope they'll do that one day.
I don't like Notre Dame being ahead of Miami or even BYU and Texas.
Yeah, but if you look at
that,
and you look at the ACC though, they have like at least it's too much scenarios going on, because like you said, what happened, a 3-loss team like SCU make it to the championship.
Yeah.
Now what you gonna have to do about that? That's the main focus. So it's so many scenarios going on.
And here's my whole thinking is, I think if you put Georgia Tech in, they could do some damage. If they upset Georgia, I will say this. It depends on how the Big 12 shapes out. But I think if Georgia Tech upsets Georgia, which I think could be a possibility this year.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I do.
Yeah.
If that happens somehow, and let's say UVA wins the ACC championship over Georgia Tech, what is stopping you from putting both teams in?
Yes.
In all honesty, I know they really want Notre Dame in there, but I just don't trust Notre Dame right now, because their schedule after losing to Miami and A&M back-to-back, it's been a cupcake outside of USC. The only team that can probably ruin Notre Dame's chances that's left on their schedule is Pitt.
Yeah. So even like, for example, what if Pitt makes it in? So that's like, it's so many scenarios going on in ACC, and then you have to look at it. You have to look at it like, okay, like you say, you want to put 4 or 5 teams from the SEC or Big Ten in.
That's
but like,
understandable for the SEC, especially.
But you look at the Big Ten, you be like, I don't know about
only Ohio State,
certain teams,
maybe Oregon.
Yeah,
I think only Ohio State. Oh, I'm sorry, Indiana. Forgive me. Indiana definitely deserves a spot.
Yeah.
Here's our fast take today. Why does the committee hate the ACC? What is their beef with the heck? When Florida State didn't get in a couple of years ago,
because of what?
The ACC AD for NC State led that charge.
Yeah,
we are our own worst enemy in the ACC conference, man.
That's what people don't understand what they're trying to do, what they're trying to prove. Like, the Big Ten and SEC is the best. Like, no, it's a lot of good teams in every conference. You don't give them a chance, and that's why I don't like it about committee, because that's like if you don't play football, please don't talk to me. Please don't. You don't understand the game, okay? I'm not trying to bash nobody, but either way, it's just a different scenario.
I mean, yeah. Well, what do you say for now? We'll table this conversation because we do need to get to picks because we got Tim Thomas of the Tech Lunch Pail joining,
Yep.
and Jeff Goodman as well, and he's eager to join because he's about to call a game tonight. So let's get into it. College football, 2 group of 5 teams. One of them could make that spot. Tulane and Memphis in the loaded American. I've got Memphis. Ed says Memphis. Here's something Ed mentions, though. Both coaches, and in other words, the head coach for Memphis and Summerall of Tulane, could be distracted by coaching changes. Doesn't matter when the players are too.
No, they worry about winning the game.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with Tulane.
Build your resume.
I feel like Tulane might get the number on Memphis.
And Tulane has more power for wins, too.
Yes.
I will say that. BYU and Texas Tech, this is the game of the week, and I think this is a very important game when you look at seeding for college football playoffs. And so that game is also playing on VTRN. You won't get this game, folks, on YouTube TV. So if you're not willing to pay for DirecTV or any of that stuff, come on over to VTRN. We'll give it to you for free.
Yep.
I got Tech. Ed has Tech.
I picked Texas Tech too.
You picked Texas Tech too?
Yes.
I like that. I think BYU is good, but I think Texas Tech has a loaded offense that is just hard to keep up with. JMU and Marshall. JMU on the road to Marshall, going to West Virginia. I got JMU. Ed's got JMU. Ty.
At first I was concerned about JMU because I said Marshall because the way they've been playing lately. But I just feel like JMU just got too much firepower and their defense is probably one of the best in the country. It's at least top 10 in the country.
I agree. Mizzou State and Liberty. Okay, Ty, on our sheet, I see something interesting.
Yes.
I understand Missouri State's a decent team.
Mm-hmm.
You think Liberty loses to Missouri State?
It's going to be close. I just feel like, let's be honest.
I like it.
Let's be honest. Missouri State is a better football team than Delaware.
Yeah, I agree. I've got Liberty, but I will agree with your take.
I just feel like Missouri it's just something about that team. You look at a couple times, their defense really good, and they got a great defense up front. So I feel like it's going to be a challenge for Liberty. So I was like, I'm going to lean towards Missouri State.
By the way, get your tickets for Missouri State and Liberty on InsaneRadioDeals.com. Cheapest place to get these tickets. Nowhere else can you get these tickets for $20 or less. A&M and Mizzou. I'll go with Mizzou. This is around the time that A&M begins the slip. But if they beat Mizzou, I'm willing to say, hey, this may be a team to compete for the SEC championship.
I still wouldn't put. I want to say, yeah, I'm gonna give it A&M one more week.
Yeah. Okay. Ed has Mizzou to cover and maybe win. Okay, Ed, we're gonna say Mizzou on your part for both of those. All right, Oregon and Iowa. Iowa just doesn't put up much offense. This is how they've been for years.
Mm-hmm.
They're a better team this year, a way better team.
Yeah.
But it's going to be hard for them to keep up with Oregon. I'll take Oregon.
I'm going to take Oregon as well. Like I said, their defense has been playing really good lately. So they're going to find a way to shut Iowa down.
All right. Ed has Oregon. Hey, he said I said it best. Oregon has that vested in the trenches to nullify bad weather as well. Duke and UConn. You've got two of the best quarterbacks leading in passing yards, and combined, they have 40-plus touchdowns and only 2 interceptions here. Duke and UConn. I'm taking Duke. Ty says Duke, right?
Yep, Duke.
Ed says UConn. Kansas and Arizona. Jaylon Daniels taking on the Arizona Wildcats. I'll go Kansas in this one. Hard to trust them, but give me Kansas.
Yeah, I'm going to join what you're doing. All Kansas on this one.
UVA and Wake Forest. This is a very important game. I'll be at this game in Charlottesville at 7 o'clock. Who do you have winning, Ty?
Man, do I feel like the UVA luck is going to run out? And that's how I'm concerned. And a lot of people don't understand. Wake Forest Wake Forest is a good team that people don't understand. They are a pretty sneaky good team.
They'll argue the blowout against Florida State.
Yeah,
wrong, but I think that was a fluke. ACC is a deep conference. I don't care what people say.
That's why I feel like I'm gonna go Wake Forest. I didn't even interrupt you. I'm gonna just go Wake Forest.
No, you're fine. I'm gonna go with UVA. Ed said Wake to cover as well. Florida State and Clemson. Fun fact: this game is on ACC Network, and we voted not to have this game on our airwaves. Instead, we've got the next game we're gonna pick on our airwaves. So, Ty,
I'm gonna go Florida State.
Give me Clemson. Do we have to pick this FSU? Clemson. is getting a lot of guys back off injury. Give me
Yeah.
Clemson.
Mm-hmm.
LSU and Bama playing on 93.3 FM. This is another game that YouTube TV is withholding from you. Disney's withholding from you, but not us. We've got you. I'm taking Bama.
Like I said, you can't go against the LSU versus Alabama game. They go play lights out, but I'm gonna just go with Alabama.
Man, Ed has LSU to cover this game. LSU will try and finish strong. Garrett Nussmeier will be a first round pick. If he, I think he does leave to the draft, but Ty Simpson is my Heisman candidate right now. So I think he's the next Joe Burrow, but he won't be stuck behind a terrible line like Joe Burrow. All right, Navy and Notre Dame. I don't think this is a contest, but I do feel like we need to point it out because a lot of people are calling Navy a good team, and they are, but they're not the group of 5 team I would want to represent in the college football playoff.
No.
I think Notre Dame runs the table here. I'll give Notre Dame their flag.
I agree with you there on that one.
All right. Let's talk about college basketball real quickly. Will Liberty beat both Charleston and FAU? I give them 1 out of 2.
1 out of 2.
Ed says 1 out of 2 as well. Kansas and Carolina. I wish I could be at this game, but you got one of the best freshmen in college at Kansas taking on a heavy transfer portal pickup Carolina Tar Heel team.
Give me UNC.
I'll take Kansas. I think it'll be very close.
Mm-hmm.
Ed has Kansas. All right, real quickly, Bama St. John's. This is the kind of game that you love to see in March Madness.
St. John's. You never go against the Big East. Come on now.
Yeah, okay. I'll take Bama to win it, but it'll be very close.
Yes.
NFL, let's go. Falcons and Colts in Berlin and on VTRN. I'll take the Colts to pick it back up and win again.
Yeah, I'm going with the Colts.
All right, Ed has the Colts as well. This is probably the game of the week, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
New England Patriots taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I got the Bucks. Baker strikes again, baby.
I don't blame you.
Chris Godwin and Ibuka are coming back as well.
Yep.
Come on now.
Like the Baker has been putting the Bucks on his back a lot lately, especially when they've been going through injuries. So I'm going with the Bucks.
Drake May is an MVP candidate. I will say that.
Yes,
I definitely would throw Drake May in the MVP
definitely.
candidate. Jags and Texans. I think this is going to be closer than a lot of people think. Texans have a great defense, but no Stroud. Big problem, maybe. Give me Jags.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a horribly scored game.
Oh, yeah. Divisional rivalry game. I'm still go. It's still going to be a close game. I'm still go with the Jags.
Shout out to David Mills, though, man. Still running it out there, man. Ed has the Jags. Rams and Niners. This is on VTRN as well. Great NFC West matchup. I love this one. I'm going to take the Rams to win this one because San Fran's wins have been luck, pure luck. I'll take the Rams to somehow edge this one out.
I just feel like Kyle Shanahan has Sean McVay's number while dealing with injuries, so you can't go against Sean McVay on this one. So I'm going with Kyle Shanahan.
Ed has the 49ers as well. I know they're a local team, so I feel like you got to have it on the picks here. No Jaden Daniels for a while. I think he's on IR, but then they were like, no, I think we need to wait. So I'm not sure where he stands on the injury report. I know he's not playing.
Yeah.
Because obviously dislocated arm.
Mm-hmm.
Lions and Commanders. Lions aiming for revenge for ruining their perfect season last year in the playoffs.
I'll go in the Lions.
Go with the Lions.
Yeah.
Ed is going with the Lions as well. He said, locked in to impress El Presidente. Donald Trump apparently will be at the game. I'm excited for this one here. Steelers and Chargers on Sunday Night Football, playing on VTRN and 93.3 FM.
That's tough. I feel like tonight this game's going to identify Justin Herbert, who he is the quarterback. I just feel like the Steelers is going to take advantage. Their defense is going to take advantage.
Steelers have the steel curtain with them. They have the fans. And honestly, the Steelers have been AFC upsetters. Give me the Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
Ed has the Steelers as well. All right, this is it. Eagles and Packers on Monday Night Football, playing on VTRN 93.3 FM, a game that's going to be supposedly so close. The spread has this divided by 1.5 points.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go the Eagles. Very close, but it depends on which Jordan Love shows up, in all honesty, for this game.
I'm going to say the Eagles. A lot of madness been going on, but I think the offense has actually been clicking. They starting to find an identity. The defense is starting to get a lot of players back. They added some more pieces they needed. So I just feel like I just feel like they's really go be back on track and start playing it really well, taking up another level.
Ed has the Eagles as well. He's also headed to Jefferson Forest. They take on the Heritage Pioneers later on WIQO. And when we come back, Tim Thomas of the Tech Lunch Pail will be joining the show. We're going to talk the James Franklin rumors again. Going to keep that up and get his thoughts on that as well, including, is the agent Jimmy Sexton holding things back? All this and more on the Fast Lane on 93.3 FM, 1320 AM, and on the VTRN Sports app.
It's so worth the drive to big savings at the Used Car Superstore on the Sheeler Motor Mile. Shop local and save more with exceptional service and selection. Your search stops here with over 900 pre-owned vehicles to choose from, plus a huge selection of new car brands in Southwest Virginia. Honda, Hyundai, Toyota, Subaru, Kia, Chevrolet, Mitsubishi, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. 11 new car brands, 900 used vehicles, all in one location. The Sheeler Motor Mile gives you more choices with pre-owned cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs. Many have miles in the teens, remaining factory warranties, and some are even local one-owner vehicles. More than any other dealer in the area, plus exceptional service, selection, savings, and financing options, and top dollar for your trade. Volume selling means volume pricing, and we've got the volume with 11 new car brands and over 900 used vehicles, all in one location. And we're proud to support our local schools and community. The Used Car Superstore on the Sheeler Motor Mile, your premier car dealer, locally and family-owned for over 50 years. I-81 exit 118C in Christiansburg. Call 866-SHEELER1. Always open at Sheeler.com.
Hey, Hokie fans, are you still getting your Hokie sports news from other outlets, or even worse, the newspaper? Well, you're missing out. Tech Sideline has assembled the largest and most talented team to ever cover Virginia Tech athletics. If you want Hokie sports coverage that is second to none and will make you the smartest fan at the tailgate, subscribe to TechSideline.com for just $12 a month or $120 a year. Tech Sideline, all Hokie, all the time, period. Subscribe today at TechSideline.com.
Plenty of large insurance companies know something. If you're injured in an auto accident, it can feel overwhelming. They've defended themselves in thousands of personal injury cases while you've never been there. Thankfully, I have. Hi, I'm Dustin Rosser with Trost Law. I began my legal career defending insurance companies before joining Trost Law. I know how insurance companies think and how to navigate the complex legal system. So if you're injured and need someone to fight for you, just call me at 777-HURT and visit trostlaw.com.
Going once, going twice, gone. This is the last year you can have Terrell E. Mosley install a new qualifying heat pump and get a $2,000 federal tax credit. If your current system is over 10 years old, you should seriously consider updating your system and take advantage of this tax credit. Not to mention, a new, more energy-efficient system will also save you on your electric bill. Call Terrell E. Mosley. It's a free service for them to come and discuss the options available to you. Don't miss out. Call Terrell E. Mosley or visit them at terrellemosley.com.
VTRN Sports, powered by ESPN Radio. The games play here. NFL action this week kicks off on Thursday as the Raiders take on the Broncos at 8 p.m. after Tech Talk Live. Then Sunday, 4 big games. Falcons at Colts in Munich. Then Patriots at Bucks, Rams at 49ers, and Steelers at Chargers on Sunday Night Football. Plus, don't forget Monday, we'll have Eagles at Packers. Catch the NFL on VTRN Sports, powered by ESPN Radio, 93.3 FM, 1320 AM, the VTRN Sports app, and on your smart speaker, open VTRN Sports.
Do you want to experience the benefit of radio and digital advertising for your business, but have no or limited funds to advertise? Let us tell you about InsaneRadioDeals.com. No cash needed. We will advertise your business on our 8 over-the-air AM and FM stations and our digital platforms that distribute out news talk, sports, and classic hits in exchange for gift cards, tickets, or experiences that will be used for your business. This allows you to advertise across the entire Virginia Talk Radio network without any cash needed and to generate a large amount of new business. Last year, we started over 900,000 streams on our online platforms, so VTRN and InsaneRadioDeals.com is the place where your business gets heard. Want to learn more? Call Melinda 434-534-8500 or email info@VirginiaTalkRadioNetwork.com.
Hey gang, this is Bud Foster, former defensive coordinator for the Virginia Tech Hokies. Join me for Foster and Friends, Saturday 9 to 10 a.m. on VTRN Sports 93.3 FM.
Hi, this is Bill Roth, voice of Virginia Tech football. You're listening to The Fast Lane with Ed Lane and Trey Lyle. Join the chat at Trey Lyle VT and Fast Lane Ed Lane on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram.
And back into the Fast Lane once again. Happy Friday, everybody. I know we already said it in the first segment, but again, happy Friday. We have entered the month of November as of a few days ago, but when we last spoke, we were still in October. It was Halloween. So thanks again for letting Ed letting us take over his show on Fridays. And it should be a good one today, folks. We've already gone over our picks for college football and the NFL, talked a little bit about a couple of topics. So now we're going to touch on another topic. And we touched on this with David Teal last week in the Fast Lane because of the script getting hot down in Blacksburg, or up in Blacksburg, you could say, up on the mountain in Blacksburg. James Franklin, the rumors are getting hot. Andy Bitter has confirmed from Tech Sideline that they did see James Franklin on campus. He's been seen. There are negotiations. There's questions of right now, what is Tech going to offer him? And will the agent Jimmy Sexton, who is known to drag out these deals, finally agree to one? And then is it set in stone? And then here's another thing. The Auburn job opened up. And you got to wonder, is that going to throw a horseshoe in the middle of all of this and maybe negotiations take longer? Who knows? I only trust three sources because Tech Sideline, who we talk to a lot, Damian Sordelette, Roanoke Times, and the next person that we have on our show today from the Tech Lunch Pail, founder of it, Tim Thomas. Tim, you and I spoke last week at the game against Louisville, and we were talking about Virginia Tech football entirely. And you brought up the Tyrod Taylor era. I brought up the Logan Thomas era. And I would love the fans to know, what are your thoughts between the two? What was the best era, in your opinion?
The best era?
The best
era.
It's
got to be, I think obviously the better era is the one you're winning ACC championships in, which would have to be the Tyrod side of it. But yeah, it would have to be that. And of course, obviously, as we talk about this coaching search, that's the ultimate goal, is to get back to competing for conference championships and get back to the level of relevance that you had when Tyrod was there, and to, the latter half of that run where Tech won, was it seven straight years of 10+ games. So that's the ultimate goal.
Absolutely. And do you think James Franklin, if he is the man hired, how confident are you that James Franklin can take this program back to winning championships like the Beamer days?
I think he's as good of a candidate as there is. I think he would be my 101, to use a draft term. He would be the top guy on my board. And I think it seems like at minimum, he is a top target for Virginia Tech, but I think it's pretty clear he is the top target. I think that at this point seems clear. Now, we can't fully test that out because, if they're going to hire a sitting head coach elsewhere or sitting coordinator, well, you have to wait a few more weeks till you could even pull that off. Franklin could pull off right now, but I do think Franklin, you just look at the pedigree of what he did at Penn State. I mean, remember because it's so long ago now, we forgot how bad of a spot Penn State was in because of those understandable and rightful massive sanctions on that program. Bill O'Brien had a couple of really nice caretaking years, and then Franklin rebuilt it. I mean, Franklin's the reason why Penn State's a top 10 job probably out there this cycle. in terms of just overall in the country, and therefore one of the top two in that top tier of jobs. It's because of Franklin, the job he did. And look, it's hard to find a head coach who played in the who led a program to the semifinals of the college football playoff last year, has won double-digit games in half of his season at his previous job, won 9 games in his second and third season of a 3-year tenure at Vanderbilt. You're not finding that resume pretty much anywhere else. And is known as a great recruiter. Has used the transfer portal effectively.
I'm
not finding that resume elsewhere.
A lot of people also forget that before there was Coach Clark at Vanderbilt, Diego Pavia and them, there was a time where James Franklin was the head coach and Vanderbilt was making bowl games before they went back to 3-game winning seasons after Franklin left to take the job at Penn State too. So he's proven he can turn around a program twice, as a matter of fact. Like you stated, Penn State, he had some successful years at Vanderbilt before he left. And he's great at recruiting in Virginia. I think that's the central thing, is that when he was at Penn State, he was known for bringing recruits over from the state of Virginia to Penn State, and almost had guys like Gideon Davidson, who's on Clemson now, but had guys like Gideon Davidson visiting the program and had Penn State in their top 3 as a result. So I think right then and there, you get James Franklin, you start bringing in the recruits. Virginia Tech takes over in recruiting in Virginia, and like they used to, and the rest is history. There's a lot of potential here. And you and I were talking, we said, look, the ACC itself right now is wide open, with Clemson struggling, Florida State struggling. We don't know where that's going as far as if Mike Norvell stays or not. And if he does stay, how will we turn the program back up? The ACC is wide open, and it could be Virginia Tech's if they get back on track.
There's definitely plenty of potential. Now, I will say, you look at Miami in general, Cristobal's got to start 20-some games in the most important months of the season. But in Clemson, I think this is just one rough year for Clemson. I think it's just this sport is going to have some of these weird years going forward. We just have to learn to live with that to an extent. Like, these things are going to happen. I mean, this is why we're even talking about James Franklin in the first place. And it's a very interesting situation. You mentioned the recruiting. Yeah, I think he could do a lot of good things. Now, is he going to be able to recruit at the same level as he did at Penn State? I don't know about that. But can he get them back to top 25 classes, to classes where you're consistently seeing 30% at least blue chip guys? I think he's definitely a guy who can deliver that. And if all the talk about, additional resources includes just more budget to acquire talent, that's a big part of all that we, everything we're talking about now in terms of player acquisition, in terms of roster management, is how much money do you have available to use to spend to get the guys that you want to get. So I think all of those things are factor in when we're looking at this situation with James Franklin and Virginia Tech. But yeah, I think there's plenty of opportunity for Virginia Tech to return to its status as one of the premier ACC programs at a critical time too. I think we all know, we don't know what it's going to look like, but I think everybody knows if you're Virginia Tech, you need to be in a position to where if there's some sort of schism that's kind of among the top 30 rather than just all of Power 4, you're in a dicey spot right now, and you need to start winning some more football games to make sure that it isn't, because everybody knows the impact that goes beyond just football.
Yeah.
But academics, the economy. If there were a schism and Virginia Tech weren't to make that schism, and you have less people coming into town for games, maybe some alums not as engaged who could be donors to the entire scope of the university. No one has to like that. It's just the reality of the situation to an extent.
Tim Thomas from the Tech Lunch Pail joining us here on the Fast Lane. Tim, do you think any coaching vacancies could throw a curveball from signing James Franklin to where maybe it diverts his attention elsewhere? Does Auburn throw a wrench in anything, or is that just an overreaction?
I think Auburn has slowed things down. I do believe Auburn has slowed things down. Now, I don't know if we would have seen, if Auburn wouldn't have opened if all of a sudden James Franklin's already, already the head coach, and we're talking head coach James Franklin at Virginia Tech right now. I don't know if I would say that, but I do think Auburn has slowed things down. I think obviously if Florida State opens, they would be a type of program I think would look at Franklin. You look at all these coaches also locking in deals that would have been candidates elsewhere. Like, not everybody can have Lane Kiffin.
No.
Who says Franklin doesn't factor in Florida?
True.
Could easily be a school that factors in for Franklin. So, and we all know I think Jimmy Sexton's playing a big role, obviously, and, managing Franklin's options and encouraging him to take his time, because he has time. I mean, he doesn't have to take a job right now. He can wait a few weeks. He can wait for the whole market to play out. I mean, at the end of the day, someone is gonna, if he wants to coach college football next year, someone's gonna give him a job to do it. So he's got the luxury of time, and look, I mean, Tech to an extent, Virginia Tech kind of does too. They can pursue other candidates in the meantime, or at least talk to them while continuing to have deliberations with Franklin, or whatever may be going on exactly. But, no other coach that Virginia Tech, I think, it seems to be looking at. Like, I don't think they're looking at Pat Fitzgerald or Dave Clawson or anything like that. Anyone else, or I don't think they're jumping in on Brian Kelly. So they have time. They have time to just watch, and they have time to wait a little bit on Franklin's decision while pursuing other candidates, because no one else is going to be able to make a decision or make that final call until we get past Thanksgiving anyway. So, like, there's, I mean, if you're Tech, I do think this is the right approach to try to get him as quickly as you can. If Franklin's your top target, there's no reason to wait to try to get him. But this doesn't have to be, all right, if we don't get him now, then we need to move on immediately to the next guy. You could start talking to them, but you don't have to abandon ship on this.
How much of a part do you feel like Jimmy Sexton, who's supposedly, according to Paul Collins, I don't know how much of a source you can trust with that.
That guy's a troll account.
He's
on the
a troll
internet.
account. That's what I figured. That's what I figured.
That guy's just making up crap.
Well, that's what I figured. That's why I figured I'd bring it up and see if we get it debunked. Perfect. So, with that being said, I will say on Sexton, I will say this. I was talking to a source on this. Like I said, I do think Sexton's the one, and it's what he does. And it's part of why he's really good at what he does is he lets the market develop to maximize his clients. The reason why so many do, and I think he is the one, I think, is a big force in saying patience, slow down a little bit. At least that's what I'm hearing, is that Sexton's the one maybe slowing things down a little bit to an extent. Just to see what else opens up, right? Yeah, just to see how the market develops, and at the end of the day, his job is to get his client the best deal, or at least ensure he has all the options to consider from. And look, Franklin, like I said, absolutely. It's not like Virginia Tech's going to fill this job with Pat Fitzgerald right now, or Dave Clawson or anything like that. It's not like Auburn's going to fill quickly. Worst case, if they miss on Franklin and Franklin's their top target, well, the next candidates are probably going to want the John Sumralls, the Bob Chesneys, Alex Golesh's. I know Manny Diaz's name has been rumored out there, which I've heard about that too.
I don't think Virginia Tech's a big enough step up from Duke for him to make a move. But regardless, these guys aren't going to move till after Thanksgiving anyway. I mean, shoot, one of them might be busier a lot longer than that, depending on the college football playoffs. And if they get in, like, say, USF with Golesh, or Memphis with Ryan Silverfield, though, I don't think Silverfield's necessarily that high. I'm not very high on Silverfield at all, to be honest. But I think all these other guys, I mean, you're going to wait a few weeks anyway.
Tim,
so,
we'll wrap up on this, Tim. Tim, do you feel like, well, I guess to put it this way, where do you feel like Phil Montgomery and Seekis would they stay with the program, or do you feel like maybe they're gone? So they're
No,
gone.
I don't think so. I mean, if whoever the next head coach decides to bring them on as their coordinators, that could happen. But I don't expect either of them back. I think Montgomery, with the job he has done, I do think he's probably going to potentially, put himself in some G5 conversation or FCS opening.
Absolutely.
If he wants to be a head coach again. Whether, like, if you're Colorado State, I think he'd be a guy that would be worth an interview. If we see some shuffling, like, say, Jeff Traylor at UTSA makes a move this off season, he's a guy who could be, or North Texas Eric Morris or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, he could be a guy who gets in the running there. And obviously, Cephas has got all his NFL side of things. So I don't expect, I think there are some assistants on the staff that could definitely be kept. Like
Jared Ferguson?
If Fontel Mines, I think Fontel Mines is going to be a guy that could easily end up being retained by, say, like if James Franklin's a guy, he tried to hire Mines previously, for example. So I think there's some guys that could get kept.
What about Wes? What about Jared Ferguson? Do you think, because a lot of players seem to love Jared and they've complimented. Go for it. Sorry.
I mean, it could. You never know how these things in the interview one up, but I think a strength coach and general manager or roles, I think whoever this next hire is going to make is probably going to more so want his guy in there, per se. So I don't think it will be.
Mm-hmm.
You never know. And obviously, you never know depending on how other things shuffle out. And obviously there's a friendship between, especially for any retention candidates, I'm sure Franklin will have conversations with Brent Pry about his view on his staff and performances of various staff members. But just with the natural friendship in the coaching business that they have and coaching together for a long time, but say that plays out. But yeah, I think you'll see a new strength coach. I think positions like strength coach, coordinators, GM, you'll see whoever gets hired will bring his people or make his own hire in those areas. I think a position coach type deal, especially when it's more on the side of the ball that a head coach maybe has more background in, I think that's a little different. And in general, you can have 10, you have all these position coaches nowadays. There's more room to retain a guy who can recruit the state you're in well and the region you're in well, who has a track record of success in his player room. I think guys like Fontel Mines or Elijah Brooks or J.C. Price, for example.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Tim, for joining us here. Tim Thomas of the Tech Lunch Pail. You can follow him at Tim Thomas TLP on Twitter. One of the best insiders to bring you information for Virginia Tech and all things Virginia Tech sports, especially football. Tim, thank you for giving us your time, man, and happy Friday, man. Hope you have a great one, and hopefully we'll get to see you at VT in Miami a couple weeks from now.
Absolutely appreciate the time, and hope you have a great week as well.
You too, man. Thank you so much. Tim Thomas joining us there. When we come back, Jeff Goodman's waiting on the phone for us. We'll talk to him about the Red Robin tournament here at Liberty Arena. All this and more on 93.3 FM, 1320 AM, Lynchburg, or the VTRN Sports app.
Want an outdoor oasis? The Concrete Wizard can restore and revitalize your pool deck or patio. After the Concrete Wizard works the magic, your old tire concrete will look new again. For pool decks, the Concrete Wizard can install a safe, innovative rubber surfacing option that's slip-resistant, soft, and easy on the feet. A great choice for families and anyone concerned about safety. Visit theconcretewizard.com for some ideas, then contact them today for a free consultation to create your perfect outdoor oasis.
Hey, small to medium business owners, if you're frustrated with slow IT support, high costs, or paying for services you just don't use, it's time for a change. Hi, I'm Colt with We Fix Stupid Computers. We provide reliable on-site and remote support tailored for businesses just like yours. And we go beyond just fixing problems. We empower your staff with real tech knowledge so they can work smarter every day. From repairs to training to full IT support, we save you time, stress, and money. Call We Fix Stupid Computers, 434-525-8590, where smart support meets real savings.
Hi, this is Zach Mackey, the voice of Virginia Tech men's basketball. You're listening to The Fast Lane with Ed Lane and Trey Lyle. Join the chat at Trey Lyle VT and Fast Lane Ed Lane on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram.
And back into the Fast Lane. We've talked a little football. We've got Liberty playing Missouri State, which, by the way, buy your tickets at InsaneRadioDeals.com. cheapest place you can get tickets out of anywhere. UVA playing football and basketball this weekend is all at home. We've got something going on here basketball-wise for all of our basketball fans here at Liberty. At Liberty Arena, we got the round-robin tournament taking place with 3 teams. Field of 68 has put this together, and Jeff Goodman has been willing to take a little bit of his time to talk about this upcoming tournament, which he'll be here for. He'll be calling, and it's going to be an exciting one. We got 3 good teams here, Jeff. A great mid-major team in Liberty made the tournament last year. You got College of Charleston, Pat Kelsey's former team, and then an FAU team that was in the Final Four 2 years ago, taking place at Liberty Arena. How was this tourney put together, and why was Liberty Arena the ultimate choice to host?
So the teams kind of came to us a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, and coming off Dusty May's, Final Four run at FAU. Charleston was rolling with Pat Kelsey, Richie McKay. They're winning 25 games every year at Liberty, and these teams couldn't find high majors to play them. It's hard for these mid majors right now because high majors don't want to play them. They'd rather play bye games. Obviously, you've got more conference games on the table now for them. So, it's hard for these mid majors to get quality games. So they came to us and said, hey, what do you think about doing this? And you guys can be involved and broadcast it and whatnot. And first year was at FAU, coming off that Final Four run. So it was crazy. ESPN actually picked it up, those games. Last year in Charleston here, where I live now, I just moved here a few months ago. But we've been here the last couple of years, kind of snowbirding it up, getting out of Boston in those winters. This year, the final year of the 3-year series goes to Lynchburg, where I've never been. So, so excited to get out there. I'm actually heading out as we speak to the airport, and can't wait to get to Lynchburg. Can't wait to kind of get a chance to see the city, see the campus. Richie McKay, one of my favorite people. Forget about coaches, one of my favorite people in college basketball, and get a chance to see an old friend in Emily Austin, who's out there as well, from Boston. So can't wait. And the games are going to be great. I mean, they have been last year. And again, I give Richie a lot of credit because they haven't fared that well in this event. But he has spearheaded this event in terms of getting it off the ground because, again, he understands the value of playing these games early too, and really learning a lot about his team going forward. Because for all these teams, an at-large going to be extremely difficult. So you're really preparing your teams for conference play and then obviously conference tournament.
If Liberty wins this Red Robin tournament, College of Charleston and FAU, are these quad 2 wins or in some cases quad 1? What would classify these wins for Liberty?
Yeah, they'll probably be quad 2s. They'll probably be quad 2s because they're at Liberty. So, if they got this win at Charleston, for example, last year, then you could maybe be talking about a potentially quad 1. But they'll be quad 2 wins if they get them. FAU coming off a big win against Boston College, College of Charleston. I've seen them practice a couple times already here, and they're different than last year. They're super athletic. They're big. Christian Reeves, a kid at the center spot who started his career at Duke, went to Clemson, is every bit the part of 7'2". So there's going to be a ton of talent these 3 days. And, I love it. 6:00 start, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Going to be a blast, honestly. Going to be a blast.
Jeff Goodman of Field of 68 joining us here on the show. Jeff, is Liberty one of the mid-majors to look out for? They're obviously not number 1. That spot right now belongs to Gonzaga. You've got VCU. And
I don't even count. Honestly, I don't count Gonzaga or VCU. They have too much money. They're not in the mid-major conversation for me. They're straight high majors. Okay, so
yes,
I think Liberty is in the conversation for the best mid-major in the country, and I can't wait to see. I just saw High Point. We had our opening day marathon, and we saw High Point blow out Furman by 30 points. And I can't wait to see Liberty and see how they stack up. Obviously, you got Colin Porter and Cade Matheny and Zach Cleveland back. But I want to see, Decker, how he comes, in his second game. Obviously, he had a great opener, but competition wasn't great. I want to see the supporting cast and kind of, Isaiah and how he comes back. He played some last year, but obviously suffered the injury. So I think this Liberty team absolutely has a chance to be the best true mid-major in the country this year.
Ooh, I love that statement. I like that. And do you think Gonzaga, I know we're talking about Liberty. Do you think Gonzaga is going to join the Big 12 or any of the Power Fives in basketball anytime soon?
Well, they're going to the Pac-12, the new Pac-12 next year.
Right.
This is their last year in the WCC. So they'll go to the new Pac-12, which has a bunch of Mountain West schools coming over. So it's not exactly the old Pac-12.
Right.
But it's going to be a good league. And, they're at least they're going to avoid playing some of those bottom tier teams that they've feasted on in the WCC for so long.
Jeff Goodman joining us here from Field of 68, giving us a little bit of his time. Jeff, before we let you go, is there any CUSA teams to watch out for? Do you consider Kennesaw State maybe a team that can compete with Liberty in the conference this year? Is there another team we're not talking about?
I don't know if there's anybody at that level, but I mean, obviously the league, the league's not what it used to be, but it's still a quality league. And you've got teams. I mean, Jacksonville State, really good coach in Ray Harper. Middle Tennessee State's been better lately. New Mexico State, they've run the WAC for years. So Western Kentucky, can they kind of get back to what they've done? UTEP with Joe Golding. Now Delaware's in it. They've had some history. So I think while, we say Liberty's clearly the favorite in the league, you just don't know these, this time in college basketball, like Richie knows what he has more than most, right? He's got three or four known quantities, maybe even more than that. Most of these teams, a lot of them have like 10 new guys.
Yes,
they have no idea. We have no idea what to expect because a lot of these guys are coming from the D2 ranks, junior college. Maybe they transferred down from the high major where they haven't really played a whole lot. So it's really hard to get a true grasp on kind of, what teams are going to be good going into the season. That's why, again, when you have known quantities like this, what Richie has, I mean, my guess is he slept a whole lot better than 99% of the coaches out there this offseason.
What do you think about Richie's ability to adapt? He's old school, but he's had to adapt because of the changing landscape. How much do you commend him for that when other coaches in Power Fives aren't always willing to do that?
A ton, especially because he's been doing this so long, right? And I think it's different too. Some of these coaches, like I've talked to Brad Underwood at Illinois. Okay, he's adapting. Part of it is he looks at his paycheck every month, and it starts with like a 3 or a 4, and there's a couple commas in there. It's easier to adapt when you're making that money. Richie's making good money, don't get me wrong, but he's not making, high major 3-4 million a year money. A lot of those guys are getting frustrated right now. They're like, well, why am I doing this? Again, the relationship part has been minimized to some degree. But again, when you look at Liberty, it's different. It's different. And that's why I can't wait to get there this weekend. I've been around these kids for the last couple of years, and they're just a breath of fresh air because they understand it is about relationships at Liberty. It is. It does mean something where for you hear the word transactional around the country for college football, for college basketball, because ultimately money generally wins. And I think there's certain schools that's not necessarily the case. And again, relationships do matter. And I think Richie McKay and Liberty and the culture and just kind of the love around that program, because that is frankly what it is. I think that supersedes in a lot of cases money, because these guys could have went out. All of them I mentioned, Colin, Caden, Zach for sure. Those 3 guys could have went out and done what Owen Aquino just did. I just saw him play this past weekend at High Point. Now, he took the money. Now, again, it was big money. If he's my kid, I probably would have said the same thing. Go take the money, because it could be life-changing-ish money. But a lot of the other kids are saying, you know what? It's not life-changing money. Yeah, I could make some more money if I put my name in the portal and went somewhere else, but I love it here. And I'm going to stick around because, again, I understand the value of it, and things are pretty good here.
Absolutely. Jeff, one last question before we let you go, because I know you got to get going here. I would love to talk ACC with you one day, but for now, I want to ask you about UVA and VT. What do you think about Ryan Odom taking over the program? And VT, I know we're only one game in, but Mike Young looks to have a better roster this year, managed to keep Toby Lawal. What are your thoughts on those programs one game into the season?
Well, very different situations, right? Ryan Odom comes in. He's trying to get this program back after a tough year, after Tony Bennett abruptly retired. He's got money. He's got resources. We know they got money in Charlottesville. And he's done it with a couple, big-time international guys for the most part. The Raiders going to be really good. And, Grunlow, same thing. They're good players. We'll see how it translates. They got to win in the non-conference. You got to win in the next month. That's when you build, the conference resume, which is very important, especially for the ACC. Mike Young, unbelievable coach. One of the best human beings I've ever been around. Like, I get this question sometimes. I got it yesterday, actually. Who are the coaches that you just want to, like, have a beer with? And Mike Young would be that guy, right? Like, he's just almost incapable of BS.
Yeah.
Great dude, great coach. We know, great X's and O's guy. They didn't have the resources last year. Didn't have the money. So couldn't get a good enough team. Well, now they've got some money, and they got Neo, a point guard who he told me is the most talented kid he's ever coached. 6'9" point guard. Dallas is terrific, and they've surrounded him with enough. Luau coming back is huge. So I think they're a tournament team. I think both are probably tournament teams, but I think both probably sweat it out a little bit. They're both,
sir.
In that 8, 9, 10, 11 range, when they're getting in.
Well, we're excited. College basketball is back. It's my personal favorite. Jeff, I won't be able to be there Friday as I'll be calling high school football, but I'll be there Sunday when Liberty takes on FAU, and I'm excited to watch some more college basketball action. Thank you for joining us, and get here safely, man. We can't wait to see you here in the great city of Lynchburg.
Thanks. Can't wait to be there. Come by, say hello Sunday before the game.
Yes, sir.
And anybody who's listening, come by and say hello and give me some good spots to go while I'm there.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jeff, for joining us, man. Be safe
All
on your
right, take
flight.
care.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Jeff Goodman joining us there on the show. Thank you all for tuning into the Fast Lane. We're going to get ready for Jefferson Forest to take on Heritage, the big game of the week. Will Seminole District finishing a tie? Is it Heritage's to win after beating LCA? We'll find out coming up at 6:30 on WIQO 100.9. But for now, back to our folks at ESPN. You're listening to 93.3 FM, 1320 AM Lynchburg on W227BG Timberlake, WVGM AM Lynchburg, and WMNA Gretna, Danville, Southside. Goodbye, everybody.
Thanks for listening to The Fast Lane on VTRN Sports, 93.3 FM, W227BG Timberlake, and 1320 AM, WVGM Lynchburg.
This is Sports Center.
I'm Ed Benkin. It's another busy weekend coming up in the NFL, and several teams are again dealing with injuries. The Colts will be without defensive tackle DeForest Buckner. He's going on injured reserve. He has been dealing with a neck injury. New England will be without running back Ramondre Stevenson and receiver Kayshon Boutte when they face the Buccaneers in Tampa on Sunday. Jaden Daniels remains out for Washington with a dislocated elbow, but the Commanders' quarterback will not need surgery. Meanwhile, the Raiders have fired special teams coordinator Tom McMahon. The move comes after a costly block punt and a loss to the Broncos last night. Earlier on ESPN Radio, Rich Eisen on the Rich Eisen Show said the Raiders need to move on from Geno Smith.